All right. Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome to today's webinar, A Bird's Eye View, Part 1, where we will be discussing what's coming up in ESG, all the legislations, and how you can prepare. I'm Victoria. I'm from marketing at Solo. And before we get started, I want to just point out on the side of the screen, you have your Q&A and your chat box, so you can click that open and close to see, to change your view and also ask your questions there. So we will answer some of the questions during the webinar if we can. Otherwise, we're going to save them till the end for our live Q&A. We also have a poll and a quiz that we would like to start with. So we will start with this poll. So if you look to the side panel, you can see it there. We just want to get a feeling of who is joining us today. So let us know, why are you here? Did your manager send you here? Is it required for your job? Or did you volunteer as tribute? Let us know. And while you do that, I also want to inform you that if you want to learn more about what we're going to discuss today, you can find everything on our ESG Academy on midocean.com. All right, let's take a look at the poll. Let's see, showing the results. Okay, nice. It's good to see that a lot of you chose to be here. Thank you. Happy to see that. Well, that's great because you're in good hands as I'm sitting with Marcia, our ESG expert with over 19 years of experience within ESG. Marcia.
Thank you, Victoria. Well, I'm not the only expert at Solo. There are a lot of us. We are with a team, and we are here to help and make it easier for you. Now, the last 10 years, legislation on ESG has increased with over 150%. So we are not lawyers, we are experts. And I have joined a lot of webinars myself where there was a lot of legal talk. And that was confusing and it was very overwhelming. So that's why we started this. This is Solo Spotlight. And this is our safe space to share our knowledge. But although today we will talk about legislation, we want to first start talk about what drives us. So we are for legislation to come into force, or we are not here just to tick boxes. Our journey started from an intrinsically value, and because we want to act responsibly. We want to do good for our business. So that's why we created Act for You. Now, Act for You is our framework, our program, and it's built on 4 pillars. Our 4 pillars are: You Are the Planet, where we act on environmental impact. It's You Are the People, where we act on our social compliance and our social impact throughout the supply chain. We act on You Are the Change. The change is, well, why we're here. It's sharing our knowledge and building a community of understanding what we're talking about. And we act on You Are the Promoter. And You Are the Promoter is to promote sustainable practices throughout the supply chain, like certifications. So for us, it's not just about ticking boxes. For us, it's to do better, to do more than the bare minimum. So now let's watch a short video about our Act for You framework.
Our personalizable products are used all over the world. They're part of daily life and powerful tools for communication. We empower millions of people to connect, share, and express ideas through what we create and personalize. From top quality garments to fully customized products, we enable people and companies to carry their message. And we do this fast and efficient. But the rules are changing. And being great isn't just about speed or quality anymore, it's about purpose. The planet is under pressure. Consumers are asking smarter solutions. Innovation gives us the tools to act more responsibly, and regulations are rewriting the rules. At Solo, we believe business should lead, not follow. That's why we created Act for You. It's not just a strategy, it's a framework. A long-term commitment to building real impact together. A structure designed to guide our progress and support yours. Act for You is built on 4 pillars of sustainability. We reduce our footprint, from materials to packaging to emissions, aiming for net zero. We care for everyone involved, with safe, fair working conditions across our supply chain. We bring transparency. We give you the tools, data, and certified product ranges to help you lead with confidence. And we drive change by learning, innovating, and sharing knowledge. Because sustainability isn't a claim, it's a shared responsibility. And with Act for You, we are pioneering for a performing, sustainable personalization industry.
Okay, so that is our Act for You. Now let's go back why you are here, and let's dive into the alphabet soup of ESG, because there are a lot of abbreviations just being thrown at you every day. And it already starts with ESG. So E for environmental, S for social, and G for governance. That's where it starts. Now, if we look at the ESG from the framework, then every part has its own directives and its own regulations. So if we look at environmental, for instance, there's the eco-design regulation, the ESPR. We will talk about eco-design because everyone will just click off when we talk about ESPR. So we make it simple, we make it easy for you. So eco-design. But it's also about producer responsibility. It's about deforestation. Everything that has to do with environmental impact is located in environmental. If we look at social with its own set of regulations and directives, in social, it's about working conditions like Amfori BSCI, or it's about Better Cotton Initiative. It's about social accountability. And governance is about how do we do business? Do we have everything embedded in our day-to-day life? It's about certifications. It's about product compliance. Do our products comply with the current legislation? Is our bottle that has to carry our water, is it food safe, and do we have all the compliancy with that?
Sorry, I have a question actually. You mentioned regulation and directives. What is the difference, or are those the same actually?
Yeah, good question, thank you. No, well, they're partially the same.
Okay.
So a regulation is a set of rules which applies to all member states the same and comes into force on the same date.
Okay.
So if the EU says this is a set of rules and it applies from 2026 February, all member states have to comply.
Okay.
A directive is more a set of goals within a set time frame, but the member state has to transpose that into local law.
Okay.
And they will get a set time frame to transpose that, but it's up to the member state how and when to transpose that.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, the regulation is for everybody and it needs to start at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas a directive is a goal that the member state can decide when they implement it into their national law.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Set of goals.
I
Yeah.
think that's clear.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry. So again, alphabet soup. On ESG, so we have our own, or not our own, there are a set of legislations which are or coming up or already came into force. Now, covering everything, we are looking at the reporting directive, the CSRD. When I talk about CSRD with peers, everyone understands. But CSRD, the abbreviation, it knocks everyone off their feet. And overarching everything that we do in how we talk about ESG, there's the Green Claim Directive and the Greenwash Claims Directive. So we will cover today, we'll cover a few of the, oh, sorry, this is all, this is live. So this is all to get us to net zero in 2050. So it's a set of rules to change us from a linear economy to a circular economy, to get net zero in 2050. Now let's look at today. So what will we cover today? We will talk about the eco-design, we will talk about the reporting directive, and we will talk about greenwashing. So the ESPR, CSRD, and the GCD. Starting with eco-design, or ESPR, which stands for Eco-Design on Sustainable Product Regulation. So the regulation,
Mouthful.
yeah, took me a couple of years to train though. But the regulation is the means that it comes into force for every member state on the same date. So ESPR. Now in the eco-design regulation, there are some steps which will come into force later. But the eco-design was has been implemented already. Now, let me also still emphasize that all these legislations are in place to make traceability and transparency throughout the supply chain, to make that more and more clear. So although sometimes it feels like it's there to give us more work, which is, by the way, it gives us a lot of more work, but it slowly transitions us to that circular economy with transparency and traceability throughout the whole supply chain. If we look at this eco-design regulation, it's really written for circularity, so for the circular economy, where we use the product, where we produce the product, we use the product, and we can recycle the product. So eco-design is all about the design of the product. It needs to be recyclable. For instance, we have to be able to recycle the t-shirts that we sell. We have to be able to recycle the small consumer electronics that we sell. And right now, it's quite challenging to recycle, for instance, the small electronics, because a lot of those parts are glued together to make production quicker. But gluing together parts, it's really, well, challenging for recycling. So when we look at redesigning our products, we need to look at a way where it's easier to deassemble. The eco-design is also to empower consumers to start recycling their products, to also embed that in their minds. It's there to focus not only on recyclability, but also on use and repairability. Because if I have that small consumer electronic, like a small speaker, for instance, and one of the parts is broken, I want to repair it, because that's less impactful for the environment than when it is when I throw it away or when it will be recycled. So the whole system works on repairability and use. But it's also focusing on responsible waste handling. So recycling and the products that can, or the parts that cannot be recycled, that they're being handled correctly as well.
I actually have a question about that. How can we, or maybe the people listening now, ensure that this is happening when we're not the end consumer?
Yeah, that is, I think that's a really good question, because the only thing that we can focus on is that the design of the products is recyclable. And what we are doing, for instance, for our textile products, is we are reaching out to communities in different countries, in different member states, to close that circularity. And the communities that we reach out to are there to recycle, for instance, textiles. So we are looking into how can we work together with the different parts of that recycling chain, then what can we do then? So how can we adjust our products that it fits in the circular economy? Yeah, but it's really hard, and I understand that that everyone out there is like, yeah, our products end up anywhere or somewhere, and how can we encourage that? So know that we from Solo, we are working on that to see how we can help on that as well. So when we talk about eco-design or the ESPR, but when we talk about the eco-design, a big part of this is also the digital product passport, DPP for short, part of that soup. But it's the digital product passport, and I'm sure that every one of you has heard about the DPP. Now there are a few things which are still unclear. One is we don't know exactly what needs to be in the product passport. I think there are 8 or 9 topics already pointed out. So we are already working on getting that data in. But still the European Union is deciding on, well, what needs to be in there and what doesn't need to be in there. So that makes life hard for us, right? But because we want to lead by example, we have already started creating digital product passports for our textile products. We are, so the information in a DPP or in a digital product passport, again, is for traceability and transparency throughout the whole supply chain. So this digital product passport needs to be passed on to the consumer as well. So they need to be able to log in to an online tool where they can find information about their t-shirt, about their pen, about the lanyard, about all the products. We started with textiles because it has been under a huge scrutiny for years. We all know that everyone is focusing on textiles. So that's also why we selected textiles to be the first with the digital product passport online. In the passport, you can see where are the products bought, where did the yarn come from, who was the company to assemble our t-shirt or our hoodie, which journey did the t-shirt make from the producer to our warehouse. So there's a lot of information. It's about the color, it's about the t-shirt, it's about the yarn which is used to assemble the t-shirt. So there is a lot of detailed information in there. And yeah, we are working on getting that everything done.
Yeah, because I see that it needs to be done by 2026. So,
yeah.
Or at least for textiles. And then how likely is it all to be fully implemented by 2030? Especially like if you consider our company, for example, we have a very diverse portfolio.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's tapping into my magic 8-ball. I think well, okay, so it's a regulation. So there's no can we do that? It's we need to do this. So like I said, we are leading by example. So we're luckily for us, we're already quite ahead with textiles. We are working on getting the rest of the product groups in place as well. But yeah, how likely is it? We have to. Yeah, we have to. So yes, it's likely.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, it is. But what's also a lot of work is to make it digestible and accessible for everyone. European Union is thinking about a system where we have to upload that information, so it will be the same for everyone. But as long as that system is not there, we will share our information. We will share our product passport with you, which you can use towards your customer as well. Because the information in there, it's not solo, it's generic information. So it's not solo, it's generic. You can use that towards your customer as well. We get a lot of questions on, can you share your carbon emissions on this product? Where does this product come from? Is this product produced in a high-risk area? All that information is in the digital product passport. Transparency and traceability. So impact information is there as well. Not just about carbon emissions, because a product has more impact than just carbon emissions. It's also about the water use, about electricity use, about the waste during production. All of that is combined in the impact score. Now, let's look a little bit closer on the products with the eco-design regulation in mind. If we look at textiles, so before it could be made from virgin cotton. Sorry, there was just little information needed on the environmental impact, but it was very hard to trace the origin or the working conditions. So in Solo, in our Act for You, in our pillar You Are the People, we are really focused on the social conditions of our workers in the factory producing our textiles. We are hyper focused on that. So that was before, but after, now with the eco-design regulation in place, we must focus more on recycled fibers, We focus much more on the better cotton. We show you the certificates. A lot of our products already have better cotton certificate. We show you the certificates, the original certificates.
So I have a question. I see that with ESPR, is it that since 2007?
Yeah.
So we can already find some of this information on our website, for example, if any customers have questions about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you go to Solo Paris, the textiles already have this information.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's not there, reach out to us because we can send you that information right away. Everything like we talked about the certifications and such will all be logged on our website as well. You can find all the valid certifications, which is also very important. So that's textiles. If we look at electronics, so before the eco-design regulation, electronics were produced to, you sometimes have a short life cycle, but very hard to repair, very much focused on getting as much production done in as short time as possible. But now, I mean, remember, I'm not sure about the age of our audience, but in my time, we didn't have the flat TV. We had the big tubes.
Oh,
you know them? Remember them?
Remember that,
okay, yeah. It was, if you wanted to replace it, that was really heavy. But those televisions were much better recyclable than the current televisions.
Interesting.
Yeah, those televisions were screwed together, hardly any glue. If you now open up, well, please don't, unless you're someone who knows what he's doing. But if you now open up such an electronic device, you can see that a lot of pieces are glued together.
Oh.
Yeah. So when people say in the past it used to be better, yeah.
Maybe in some ways.
In some ways, yeah. So it needs to be better recyclable. So if we look even at batteries, some of the products that we encountered in the past had batteries almost they were like hidden somewhere. We really had to started a search party to get to the battery in a little product. So that's no longer allowed anymore. And so we have done that with the design as well. So it is easier now to recycle the products and to deassemble the products. Everything again will be mentioned in the digital product passport. If we look at pens and other plastics, so before we had a single-use product, or we had virgin plastic, or hardly recyclable or traceable even. Now even for pens, There is, we need to have the digital product passport in place. It needs to be recyclable or refillable. I mean, all the pens were refillable already, but hey, who was doing that? Unless it was a Mont Blanc, but no one was doing that with the cheaper pens. So, but it needs to be refillable as well, or use recycled plastic. And when you use recycled plastic, have all the documentation in place. So what do we offer to you? Because what's in it for you? We will have an easy calculation tool. It's a work in progress because we are still trying to find the best way to communicate about this impact calculation in the digital product passport. But you can do a really good product comparison in our website. Again, it's a work in progress, but you want to compare, for instance, products also on social impact. Which products have which social impact? We will help you. We will be your helping hand. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to our sales team. The digital product passport, again, it will be available for you to use that towards your customers as well. Now, let's go to the reporting directive, the CSRD. Bear with me, keep your eyes open. We will call it reporting directive. This reporting directive is, the basis is, again, transparency and traceability. So transparency throughout the whole supply chain. The reporting directive has basically two parts. One is we report on our products, the impact that our products have, and the other one is we report on the impact that our company has. So our products, our pens and our textiles, they have a certain impact, but our company as well. We use electricity, we use gas to get heating done. So that's where the two are separated. Now, the whole reporting directive is again based on ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And the reporting directive is here for us for the bigger companies to report in the same way, because now one company can say, I report only on this, and the other company can say, I can report only on that, or anything. So we will get the same set of rules, but it still will be personalized because you need to do some, of course, you need to jump some hoops, whatever. But so that's what the reporting directive means. Now, the reporting directive helps everyone with a uniform measurement. So the way that we are going to report it has been from 2024 on as well, but the way that we report in the upcoming years will help us to get to net zero in 2050. Because being clear, transparent, and honest about our impact figures is also challenging us to reduce those figures. So it helps us to get to net zero, and it helps you as well to compare our outcome with someone else's outcome. Now, when will it be implemented? That's still debatable. Well, no, it's not debatable. As we speak, the European Union is still discussing a lot of the do's and don'ts and the who and the why under the CSRD, the reporting directive. If you're obligated to report, then you're probably a bigger company. A company, at the moment, the rules are the companies that need to report have over 250 employees, over 50 million turnover, and at least 25 million of assets. That's where we are right now.
I have a question. So you're saying only big companies have to report at the moment. So if I'm a smaller company, I don't need to do the reporting.
Well, it's not mandatory,
okay.
but we do advise you to report something.
Okay.
I mean, the customers, the consumer is asking for reporting as well. So yeah, I would definitely report. I will show you later as well why I think we think it's wise for you to report as well. Like I said, we are still the European Union is still discussing about the nitty-gritty work here. But the thing is, the date has been postponed already to 27 and 28. So we, as Solo, we have to report in 28 on data in 27 as an EU member. EU company, sorry. If you're outside of the EU, you're already obligated to report in CSRD. I hope this makes a little bit sense, because I do know that this can be very, very confusing. By November, December, we will learn better about the minimum thresholds of the companies that need to report under CSRD. Again, we are leading by example, so no matter what the European Union says, we are going to report based on the CSRD guidelines. Now, this is why you, as a smaller company, you are way ahead. This is why we think, and not only we, but the European Union also says, as a smaller company, report on something. So we, as a supplier, we sell to a reseller, and your end client can be a big company, can be a multinational, an international company. And then the multinational does need reporting because they fall under the reporting directive. When you, as a smaller company, do not fall under that reporting directive, you rely on the information that you get from your supplier. So for us, the information that we're going to share with you, based on the CSRD reporting, you can use a part of that reporting in yours as well. So we really would emphasize do that, because although you're not obligated, maybe your end customer is obligated. And then you can fulfill that little extra need that they need. Okay, again, what do we offer you? We will have the calculation tool, which makes it easier for you to choose the products with less carbon emission, with less environmental impact. So your impact also reduces over time. So you will also be working towards that net zero, that overarching goal. We will make legislation, we will explain it on our website, and we hope to make it a little bit easier for you. We will have the digital product passport that you can use in your reporting towards your customer as well. So you can use our results or our reporting structure as well.
All right, before we get into the next section, we do have a quiz for everybody to see how you're following along so far. So you can go ahead and open the side panel again. And we just want to quiz you to see if you have been following along. So it's open now. Go ahead and enter your answers. So we have just covered the first two legislations, the alphabet soup, the CSRD and ESPR, ESPN, I don't know. Who has to comply with ESPR? You can go ahead and enter your interactions on the side panel, click it open. Getting the last answers here. Let's see. Okay, so if you answered only importers, you're correct.
Basically, you're correct. Yes. Yeah. So we've done a good job. Otherwise, we just should have started all over again. So please don't. No, but the ESPR, so the eco design, is it is mandatory for the importer, so the one who imports the product to the European Union. But as a reseller, you need to show the digital product passport all the way through the supply chain as well. So the end consumer has to be able to get that information. But the weight of that, of creating the digital passport, lays at the importer.
I just want to mention that we do see some questions coming in, and we will answer them soon. We're just running short on time, so we will get to them, so don't worry. And also, I see a comment here that you have to leave. Don't worry if you have to leave. It will be recorded and sent to you, so don't worry. All right, let's continue.
Yes. So let's go into greenwashing. I mean, this is a thing which is happening everywhere, so don't worry. Let's go into it. So greenwashing is claiming green facts, but not fiction. So there is the greenwashing legislation. So this is there are two parts, and we will try to explain this, but we really understand there's a lot of confusion here. So there's the greenwashing legislation, which empowers consumer to make better choices. That is one which came into force in 2024, last year. And this one on greenwashing, it's about that consumers can get confused with green marketing when you're saying that this pen is green, but it's obviously a white pen. Or when you say this is the most sustainable product ever, but what does sustainability mean? So it all has to do with the words that we use in our marketing. So it's not about a group of products, but it's about the words that we use in marketing. This greenwashing legislation came into place, and it says everything that you can say, that you will say about a product, need to have verified claims. So we cannot say this is a green pen when it's a white pen. We can say this pen is made out of recycled material, and we have to show the documents that it is made out of recycled material, because that's a fact. And the green or eco or environmentally friendly or sustainable, or that's all claims that you cannot prove by any verified claims. Here are some examples. So the Greenwash Directive, that's fumbling on words again. This is a big soup, right? Okay, so the Greenwash Directive, that's about the product, and this is not allowed. So looking like Europe's lowest fares, lowest emissions airlines. They can make that claim if they can back it up with all the scientific documents, but trust me, they cannot. This is really leaning into the emotion of a consumer. Like the water, every drop is green. If your water is green, don't drink it. I mean, no, that's bad. So it's not green water. So that's how you a little bit need to look at it. Or the Volkswagen. Actually, Volkswagen was slapped on the wrist because of this campaign. Because they say, and I cannot read it, I don't have my glasses on, but it says something like clean diesel.
Yeah, but they spelled clean wrong.
Oh yeah, of course. But there is no clean diesel. I mean, diesel is being made out of oil. So that's not clean. So that's greenwashing, no longer allowed. This is tapping into the emotion of a consumer, thinking they're doing good, because that's one of our emotional tics, right? We want to do good. Yeah. That's not allowed. That's no longer allowed since 2024. Know that there is the check on this legislation is not that intense. So don't worry. Don't go set your whole marketing team on your website to make sure that all those little words are being extracted. But make sure that you will do it, because the consumer expects, or our customer expects, to get clear and transparent and honest information. That's the Greenwash Directive. Then you have the GCD, the Green Claims Directive. Now, a claim is something different than the greenwashing. So you can make a claim for now. You can make a claim on a product group, like the conscious promotions, or like what H&M is doing, conscious. But you cannot say this is a conscious pen. You can say this is part of a conscious group. That's a claim.
So you can say this. You can't say that this pen is a green pen. But yeah. You can say this pen is part of a green collection. No.
That you can do. Okay. But you cannot say this is the greenest collection.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, it's really confusing. We understand. If you need more in depth, let us know. But so these green claims are allowed for now.
Okay. This is good for me to know from marketing what I can and can't say.
Absolutely. So let's go through some do's and don'ts. Looking at this t-shirt. So we cannot say this is a sustainable t-shirt, because sustainability means something different for everyone. We cannot say this is an eco-friendly t-shirt, because what is eco-friendly? One, or in my opinion, eco-friendly in production, this is not eco-friendly. What we can say is this t-shirt has Oeko-Tex certification. And then we have to show that Oeko-Tex certification. Or we can say this t-shirt is made from organic cotton, and then we show the organic cotton certifications. So everything has to be backed up with the correct certifications. If we look at this bag, so we cannot say anymore, this bag is made out of 100% recycled materials, because can you actually prove 100% recycled materials in this bag? Is the ink recycled? Is the yarn recycled? Is the la la la? So every little detail, when you say 100%, every little detail needs to be made out of recycled materials, and you need to back it up by your proof.
We also have to consider the print on the bag.
The print,
as well.
the inked, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, exactly. And not only our inks that we are using in Ruda, but also the dyeing inks that the producer is using to dye the handle, for instance. So it's every little detail of the product. And don't let me get into a small consumer electronics. So talking about 100% recycled, that's no longer allowed, because you need to, unless, again, you can prove that. But saying that this bag is made out of minimum of 50% recycled materials, then you can back it up with the 50% of the recycled materials in the cotton or the polyester or the yarn or the little label which is sewed into it. So that's what's allowed and not allowed anymore. I hope this makes things a little bit clear. Now, here's where all the confusion comes in. So it's now still allowed to say we have conscious promotions. That's still allowed for now, but it needs to be fact-based for the future. So the conscious promotions is now still allowed. This is the Green Claims Directive. And the Green Claims Directive, it's still under a lot of discussion. It should have been signed off just 2 weeks ago. It should have been signed off to come into force in February 2026. But there were discussions in the European Union about the bureaucracy or the bureaucratic burden for the smaller companies to back everything up with claims. How can they do that? Well, have a reliable supplier as your source. But the thing with the GCD, the Green Claims Directive, is they're now rewriting the rules a bit, which is for the smaller and medium enterprises. Again, we lead by example. So we already excluded, we withdraw conscious promotions. It will no longer be allowed, and we are still on the timeline to get everything done by 2026 February to comply with how the Green Claims Directive was in the beginning. So on other websites, you probably can still find things like claims, and they are now still allowed, but they won't be allowed when the GCD comes into force. Everything has to be backed up by facts. So looking at the timeline, so the Greenwashing Directive, eco-friendly, green, eco, blah, 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 that has been into force since March 24. So we absolutely advise to check your website and check all the outings that you're doing on marketing to exclude that type of wording. And the Green Claims Directive, it's been postponed, but we will make sure that we will comply with it anyway. So what do we offer you? Again, a very easy calculation tool. We will make sure that everything is clear and transparent for you. Everything will be in the digital product passport, because all the green claims that will be backed up are in the digital product passport, and we will lead by example. We do not follow the crowd. We will lead by example. So looking a little bit at what we talked about today, but everything that is in place right now is to become net zero in 2050, sorry. So what are we doing as we speak? We are really working with a big group of people. We are working to make sure that we comply with legislation which maybe isn't into force yet, but will come into force very, very quickly. So we started the conversation with our suppliers years ago to make sure that they will follow up with everything. So keep an eye on our socials and on our website, because we're constantly communicating about what we're doing. So what we've covered today, just to get a recap, because there was a lot of things. I talked a lot, and I can imagine that everything just feels like, overwhelming again, going back to the soup. We discussed the eco-design regulation. So this came into force. It's the digital product passport. It's about transparency, traceability, recyclability. The reporting directive, the CSRD. So the ESPR importer has to comply with the CSRD, the reporting directive. Big companies have to comply with this, and we will report by in 2026 already as Solo Group. greenwashing, the directive and the claims. So the washing is about green pen, green drop. This is the most sustainable product. And the claims is about the product group. So more about the claims of a whole set of products.
Wow. Definitely covered a lot.
Yeah.
My head is full.
I think everyone's head is full. I think we're...
Okay, so now we have moved on to the Q&A portion. Just to let you guys know, there will be a part 2 on September 4th. So after this webinar, you will receive an email with the link to sign up for this one, the recording of this, and the presentation for this part 1 of A Bird's Eye View. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the Q&As. Okay, Michelle asked, what about cotton pickers?
Yeah, that's a good question, Michelle. The cotton pickers, I mean, that's exactly what's in the social part of CSRD. So CSRD is reporting on ESG, so environmental social governance. So the cotton pickers are in our social part. And although they are quite far removed from us, they should have been incorporated in, let's call it the social due diligence directive. But that one has been pushed down the line by the European Union, which is, for us, we will gradually work towards getting more detailed information in by every tier, every part of our production plan. So hopefully, not hopefully, we will come to the cotton pickers as well. I cannot say if it will be within 1 or 2 years or 5 years, but we're working on that.
Okay. Next question from Noemi. How much detail is shown on the passport? I.e., are we ultimately going to have to reveal to our customers who our suppliers are?
Yeah, there will be a lot of detail in the digital product passport, but the European Union also knows that it's also about a little bit, you know, your recipe of your products, and you want to protect your suppliers. So the first step in the DPP is that we can communicate about, let's call it supplier numbers. So we don't have to talk about the name, or we can also just talk about location. But along the way, suppliers will be named, and that will be, yeah, that's going to be a whole different challenge for us. But right now, working with supplier codes is enough.
Next question, also from Noemi. When you say textiles, will this also cover fabric bags like cotton shoppers?
If we look at, it depends on which part of textiles you mean.
And this question, she says, refers to the DPP.
Yeah, the DPP. Yeah. So the DPP, yes, it needs to be quite detailed, but with codes is okay for now. And yes, we need to show our customers that, or the end consumer as well. Now, you asked the question about the textiles and the bag. When I talk about textiles and about the DPP, which is now in place, which we use retraced for our textiles, that's about garment. We are working on getting that in for bags and pouches as well, and all the other textiles. Yeah.
Next question. Yes, but the companies that we supply to are under that turnover. Not sure what that.
That's about CSRD. Yeah, but so I understand. So if they don't have to comply with CSRD and you have to, then yeah, there's a gap. But even if they're not under that turnover, maybe their customer or their end user is requesting more detailed information from you. So we're not here to say you need to report. Please don't get us wrong. It's more a suggestion, and if you want to talk about that a little bit more, reach out to us, because we want to share our knowledge. You are the change. We are sharing our knowledge. We're sharing our expert for you. Yeah.
Next question, and I think it's about the greenwash claims, like no superlatives are allowed anymore, or absolute wording.
Correct. It's the superlatives which are not longer allowed, or yeah, It's super loud. Well, it's also about, so green pen. I mean, it's not the greenest pen. Green pen, when it's not green, it's no longer allowed.
As the greenwashing was implemented in 2024, why are companies still doing it? That's a really good question.
I think that's $1 million question. Well, one thing is, I think, and that's also why we started this, is that there is a lot of legislation out there. And again, 150% increase in the last 10 years. So maybe some people are just not aware. That's a thing. Yeah. So, and why are they still doing it? Oh, yeah. And I know this is maybe very bad for me to say, but sometimes it just feels like a little bit easier that you can say, well, this is the most sustainable pen that you can get. You know, that's like easy, because if you are going to communicate about everything that needs to be backed up by the certifications,
And you have to research it. And
you have to
ask
research it.
the departments.
Exactly.
Find out.
And plus, you also have to be able to feel confident enough to ask that information from your supplier.
Yeah.
Dare to ask that question. So yeah.
Next question from Signa. When will you show the CO2 print on your articles?
We're working really hard on that. Yeah, it's a really good question. And so we're working hard on that. And let's say 2026, because I don't want to manage expectations. If you really need that impact calculation already, you can reach out to us and we can give you that impact calculation. Showing it on the website means, again, going back to us as being leading by example, we want to back it up with all the documents. Getting all that information in from one product costs us, okay, I'm not going to talk about cost because it's really expensive, but so we're making that happen. And we are, because we want to, if we say this is 10, then we want to have the backup documentation also that you can say, this is 10. So we have an in-between solution. If you want to know that, reach out to us. We can give you that, because a lot of customers of yours are already asking for it. So we can supply you with that.
Okay, we have one final question here from Andrew. Are those elements you mentioned connected with carbon footprint? Is it also part of any regulation directives upcoming?
Yes. Ooh, that's a good question, Andrew. And it's I hope you have like an hour or two for me to explain. No. Yes, it's related to carbon footprint. So if we look at the eco-design and at the product, so at the eco-design regulation, the ESPR, and the digital product passport, which is part of that. In the digital product passport, we have to communicate about the impact of our products. And the impact is being calculated, and that's where it says exactly the rules, how the calculation should be done. So there are a few ways to calculate your impact, but the overarching one that most of the people are using is the Greenhouse Gas Protocol. So we will use the Greenhouse Gas Protocol with verified documents. So yeah, but if you want to talk about it more, like I said, that's very detailed, and maybe we're losing some people along the way. Yeah.
Okay, last question. One more came in.
Okay, one.
Are you using primary or secondary data on your carbon footprint calculation?
We have experts in the house. Yay! So both. So we are using as well primary as secondary data. There where we can get the primary data in, we of course use the primary data. But keep in mind that even our suppliers, we need to teach them, we need to take them with us in our journey of our Act for You, to say we want to have open and honest and traceability and transparent information. So those suppliers, we need to teach them how to give us that primary data. Now, for anyone who doesn't understand what's primary and secondary data,
Me.
when you do a calculation, you can use indexes saying, so this is roughly what everyone is using, or you can go deep dive into like, what were you using as a supplier? So the index calculation, that's the secondary data, and that's a little bit easier to get all those calculations done. The primary data is talking to your producer and saying, okay, so how much energy did you use to produce this pen? And then you will make the impact calculation on that. And as long as you have the primary data, you can work to reduce that data. That's more detailed information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So both.
Nice. Okay, we have one last poll before we go, just to get some feedback from you guys. We want to know how this went and how we can do better for the next webinar coming up. So if you look onto the side panel, again, we have a question about how you would rate this webinar. If it was excellent and you learned a lot and it was engaging, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. If it was very good and you learned a few things, also good and somewhat useful, great. I just hope that it was not a waste of 45 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. So with that being said, we look forward to seeing you guys in the next webinar. Again, just want to remind you that this recording will be sent to you in an email with the link to the sign up for the next one, the presentation, the recording. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay. Nice. Well, we'll hope to see you guys in the next one. Oh, another question was asked. Oh no. Oh, somebody just said thanks a lot.
Oh,
Okay,
you're welcome.
so welcome.
Thank you everyone for
Thank you.
joining and for
Bye.
sticking with us. Bye-bye.